he/she was the one quite a bit. Let's see what else we got here, because, you know, it's nice, it's good. But, I knew my mother was crazy when she scared me in the middle of the night wearing a ski mask while wielding a knife for fun. Stephen Hogan, where are you? You have won Becoming Generation Flux. Why traditional career planning is dead. How to be agile, adapt to ambiguity, and develop resilience. Here you go, buddy. Stay away from his mom. I knew my parents loved my ex-husband more when I came to visit and he was living in my old bedroom. Carol Ann! There she is. You win Average Joe Schmo blank wooden DIY sculpture. Man, that sucks. Did he leave?
No, he still lives there.
Jesus! You hear that? He's still in her old bedroom. How long?
I don't know, many months.
Oh my God, many months. All right.
We're gonna get crazy.
I knew my cat loves me when she thought I was dying taking a shower and cried for half an hour and wouldn't leave me alone afterwards. Aww. You know, for that one, Nell. Where's Narwhal Nell? There she is. You get a t-shirt. Get a beautiful I Star Shy t-shirt. All right. What else do we have here? One more.
There's one with a photo in there that's pretty good.
I know, but not everybody can see it. That's the problem. Not everybody can see it. Oh yeah? Okay, I'll pass my phone around. That's a good idea. All right, let's see what else we got here. One more. When his apartment smelled like sweat, when he told me, friends don't question his drinking. The morning his mom called, I knew. Whoa. All right. That's pretty rough. So I think you get the Winter Family Sir James vest. Where's James? Oh man, you're with her. Dude. Well, at least you found each other. No offense. All right, one more because I have one more. I knew watching clips of natural disasters that women in heels are screwed. Where's Karen Rose? There she is. Eamon in search of a lost avant-garde. An anthropologist investigates the Contemporary Art Museum. Heavy stuff for a heavy, when did you know? All right, we are in our second half. And I planned poorly. All right. Ron Slattery is speaker number 11. Ron is a collector and curator of vernacular photography and other interesting items. You may not know him as one of the discoverers of Vivian Maier, but it's true, and you can find a story about that on Gapers Block. He is a big fan of pie, and you can ask him about that afterwards too. But right now, he is here for you. Ron, what do you know?
Howdy, y'all. How you feel? Want to see a picture? There it is. I just got back from Portland. Went there for a week. Everything about Portlandia is true. That's all there is to it. I collect found photographs. And my girlfriend and I, the girl I didn't see, we went to this little resale shop, and I asked her to pick out photos. We were both in this opposite sides of this big box, and she started picking out some fun stuff. I really like this one. And then there's Stubby. And I said, why did you pick Stubby? And she's like, because his name is Stubby. I'm like, okay. And then there was Howard. And I said, Ann, why Howard? It's faded, it's not that great. His eyes. Don't fuck with Howard. And then she's doing some cute artsy stuff, and I'm like, oh, maybe she doesn't get it, it's art and all that, heavy fun shit, and wham. What the hell? A pink Polaroid. All right, you're getting it. And then there's this. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I think that's happiness. The bottom of this, I didn't catch it as she caught it. It says, she loves Mississippi Queen. I'm hearing mountain all over the place. And there we start getting a little bit eclectic. And it starts getting fun. And all linear and all those wonderful things that you look for in the beautiful vernacular photography. So I'm thinking to myself, as I'm looking out on the big veranda there at the ranch, what's this chick all about? Is she going to be frightened when I tell her about all this? But when I finally looked at her and said, you know what, you really have the eye, and she was laughing and smiling and having the greatest time in the world, that was me, right there. And that's what I knew.
Danette Chavez is a culture writer and editor, but she took the scenic route getting there, first spending over 10 years in the hellscape that is newspaper advertising sales. And it is a hellscape, let me tell you. She is a writer for the AV Club and has been published on Gapers Block, The Chicago Reader, Chicagoist, Literary Chicago, and XO Jane. Danette, she has 2 minutes to tell us when she knew. Come on up. Center stage.
Don't worry about me getting any text while I'm reading this, because I have no friends, as evidenced by how few people I recognize in the crowd. I grew up in a vaguely Christian, pseudo-religious home, where church was more of an occasional event venue than it was an institution, like weddings and baptisms. So most of what I knew about religion or faith came from television, movies, or my friends, which led to bad meteorological premises such as thunder is the sound of God bowling, precipitation is this tears, and beliefs that I still carry with me today, like that all snakes are evil. So God and Jesus were character in movies, and the concepts of good and evil were relegated to stories. But I don't mean to suggest that my siblings and I ran wild. Quite the opposite, really. We were the best behaved group of 7 kids crammed into a Chicago bungalow anyone ever met. We got good grades, we avoided bad influences, we even made the Brady Bunch look like ill-mannered brats. It's just that our morality wasn't dictated by scripture so much as inherited from our parents, with a little help from negative reinforcement. We learned what to keep our hands off of, why lying was bad, and why we should wait for marriage, based on stories they told us of how making the right and wrong decisions in their own lives had affected them. Despite this rather pragmatic description, my parents did and do believe in God. He, and he was a he to them, was a benevolent God who nonetheless frowned down upon certain things, lots of things. And because they didn't really follow his playbook, they didn't really expect us to memorize it either. I guess they figured they were guidance enough. But they did make their faith known to us, whether it was my dad saying something was in God's hands when things looked their grimmest, or my mom thanking God when something actually went their way. And I know I just described myself as an angel on earth, but I did have a stubborn, dare I say, rebellious streak when I was younger, which is why I declared myself an agnostic as soon as I learned the term. I wanted to make it clear that my belief in God, if I should ever have one, would be developed on my own and based on my own experiences. I'm out of time. And because I didn't become zealot about my stance, or rather lack thereof, everyone in my family ignored it. And for the most part, I didn't know one way or the other. But in some warped version of the tip of the tongue phenomenon, the answer to my question about whether or not I believed in God came on its own in 2007, the year that my mother passed away. When I got the news, that was the moment that I knew. The time that I needed God the most, when I should have believed in an afterlife, that was the moment that I knew I didn't believe in any of it. Thank you.
We always tell them it's a soft 2 minutes. So. It's okay. All right. Speaker number 13 is Amy Sumpter, who is a stand-up comic, and she can be seen all around town with the Kates. Kate over there. A bookseller at the bookseller or the Laugh Factory. She was also on Last Comic Standing's Top 100 Comics this season. That's right. That's right. When Amy isn't slinging jokes, she can be. She can also be found rapping with She's Crafty, Chicago's all-female, possibly the world. Is it the world's? Just Chicago? Well, no. I mean, all right. So I'm saying, don't limit yourself to Chicago. The world's all-female Beastie Boys tribute band. That's right. She's Crafty. Please tell Jimmy Fallon that they would love to be booked on his show. But right now, she is on our show to answer, when did you know?
I was 12. It was the first year of junior high. Hormones were racing. Mean girl bullies were a real thing, and I their prey. The start of my 7th grade year had been, in a word, horrifying. So there I was, alone in the abyss we call adolescence. I didn't have any classes with my bullies, so in a way, it was free. I could reinvent myself. I could try to make new friends. I could figure shit out. The when it happened was in Mrs. Lesch's communications class. I found out I was good at something that most people dread, like an STD, public speaking. After you've been humiliated and shunned, public speaking was pretty low on the totem pole of scary. We even tried this wacky thing called improv, and that's when it happened. Mrs. Lesch gave us each a scenario. Okay, girls, you two, Amy, you Lisa, you're 2 girls, you're at a Claire's boutique, you steal a pair of earrings. Tom, you're the security go. Improv. Okay. Now, something came over me. I didn't give a flying fuck if the audience, aka my peers, liked me or not. So I didn't hold back. Object worked? Yes. Alright? Did it. Fake crying? Wow! You betcha. My entire class, along with the teacher, laughing? Fuck yes. Something odd and wonderful happened that day. That weird, small moment in that classroom was a defining moment in my life. I knew right then that I would be a performer forever. I needed to be on a stage. I needed to feed off of that laughter. I didn't know how hard it was going to be at times. Starving artist is a real thing, you guys. Just FYI. But I knew that I had to do it because in that moment, when I made my class laugh, I figured out what being alive felt like. And it was fucking awesome. Thank you.
So much stage management over here. Sorry. I need a roadie. I need a roadie. Anybody? Jenni Prokopy is the founder of chronicbabe.com. Project, hey, some fans, some Chronic Babes. Project that teaches women how to craft kick-ass lives in spite of illness. That's not what you thought it was it? She knew she. Hey, you're letting people know. She's answering twice, guys. She knew she wanted to be a writer when she was 6 years old, and the rest is history. Jenni, you have 2 minutes to answer. When did you know?
illness and sometimes unreliable vocal situation, through the magic of video, I will be talking to you.
I started quilting last year, having never machine sewn a thing in my life. And y'all, quilting is my jam. Brandy taught me to thread my machine, partly by using a Sharpie to draw little numbers on it so I would be able to repeat the very complicated 6-step maneuver on my own. She and Natalie and I pored over websites to choose fabric with just the right mix of colors and patterns and movement. We plotted and planned, and when we had all our materials, we ironed and cut and stitched and ripped out stitches and stitched again. We talked and sewed and talked and sewed. And I made a thing, a quilt to keep me and my guy warm. A quilt whose colors, pink and orange and purple, match, offend traditionalists, but make me super happy. I started watching YouTube videos, scouring websites, following dozens of fellow quilters on Instagram and Pinterest, reading books and blogs, and driving all over the place to visit quilt shops because, y'all, Chicago has almost no quilt scene. This is a creative pursuit much more readily embraced in the burbs in the country. I joined sewing circles, meeting strangers who became fast friends. We giggled about going braless when our backs ached from leaning over our machines and cutting boards too long. And we shared with each other projects loaded with meaning. Quilts about illness, about the loss of a child, quilts in honor of beloved pets and TV stars and friends, and quilts to welcome babies and celebrate marriage equality. Sewing took over my house. Quilts on the walls, scraps piled on the floor, cutting mats and rulers and scissors scattered across the dining room table. Everywhere I went, I brought with me little bits of string stuck to my clothes. Like someone with a cat who always sheds, but instead of hair, it's strings of every color. I'm a string cat. The more I sewed, the less I hurt. The more new friends I made. The more free my mind and body became. Free to write, to create, to cook, to make love, to garden, to move. The more I sewed, the less pain I felt. The more I created, the better I felt. The more I make, the more me I am. And that's when I knew quilting is my jam.
Quilting made my jam too. All right, we're 3/4 of the way through now. How you guys feeling? Good? All right. I'm glad to hear it. By the way, if you're liking what you're seeing, please follow us on Facebook at 20x2chi, 20x2chi. And follow us on Twitter, the same place. We do this show in this very room twice a year. We do it in October and we do it in April, so the next one will be this coming April. And it'll be a completely different question. Probably a couple of the people you've seen tonight, because we like those veterans, but we love getting some new folks up here, so come on back in April. Speaker number 15, E. Oaks, aka Evan Okun, is employed by Circles and Ciphers, a Chicago-based restorative justice group led by people who are court and gang involved. The organization hosts hip-hop peacemaking circles in prisons, group homes, schools, and community sites across the country. They also partner with the court system to resolve criminal cases outside of the prison industrial complex. E. Oaks is a compassionate prison abolitionist who is bored of capitalism. Seeing as there is enough food to feed everybody on the planet, he figures humans are smart enough to end world hunger. He makes albums, performs improv freestyle rap shows, and does spoken word poetry. E. Oaks, come on up here and tell us, when did you know?
I knew I was an addict. I've always known I was an addict. I stopped drinking and smoking, though, stopped doing drugs for now. Though the other day I found myself on my couch, kind of like hunched up and curled, just rocking back and forth, spelling addiction over and over and over again. And then that wore off, the way all highs wore off. So I started saying a word that started with each letter of addiction in order. So the first word would start with A, and then D, and then D, and then I, and then C. And then when I got to M, I would just go back to A, and then D. Like, addiction does deciding. I can't turn intention on never. I try to stop the things that addiction does deciding. I can't turn intention on never. Always driven down in catatonic tornadoes, injected often. Numbed arms don't do. Instead, collapse, they inch open nooses and dangle decoratively. Intravenous contractions tingle intimate. Our newly achieved delight delivers itself continuously till inverting out. Now, amazing deliciousness dissolves into canned tarantula inching onto neck. Apparently, Dad deduced I could think it obsolete. No. Again. Deliver dose in capsule to ignite. Oh. Now, again. Duck down into corrosively tactile inventions. Obstruct needed airways. Drag dilated iris cross town. Eye optically null android doused in cataract. This isn't optional. Neurons automatically drugged down in circles till infinite's over. Never access deep deliverance. Instead, craved till I owned nothing.
Forgetting my own blocking. John Morrison is number 16. John is a photographer, user experience designer, and strongly opinionated person on the internet. He grew up in New York, but now resides in Chicago's Ravenswood neighborhood, just over that way. He justifies being a fan of both Yankees and the Cubs as paying penance for his wins. Follow him on Twitter at @localcelebrity. And John, please share your thoughts on When Did You Know?
On January 6th, I arrived at Northern Danette International. It was to be a quick trip, but there was a lot riding on it. I was uncomfortable, half in part of the idea of leaving Chicago, and half due to the hernia in my groin. My insurance had refused to cover the hernia repair, forcing me to postpone surgery 3 times. The interview, however, could not wait. When I got there, the recruiter offered a tour. We walked through the frosted glass doors with stainless steel handles into a gray room with many more frosted glass doors, all with stainless steel handles. That was all she could show me, secrecy. I was then subject to a marathon of 10 interviews in 6 hours, no breaks, straight through lunch. I spent the next few days exploring the valley, weighing the pros and cons of giving up the urban Midwestern lifestyle I'd grown to love. By the time I returned to the airport, I'd convinced myself that I could do it. I'd find a place in the Mission, I'd commute to Cupertino, I'd make it work. When I landed at O'Hare, I was less convinced that I wanted to. Chicago just felt like home. The following Monday, I had the surgery without insurance coverage. By Friday, I was still in pain and called out of, and was subsequently fired from, my last remaining source of income. That evening, however, I had committed to photographing my friend Matt's show. So I grabbed my gear, popped hydrocodone, and caught a cab. At the show, she caught my eye. Once in the crowd, once talking to Jess, and once again talking to Matt. There was something about her, but given my condition, I was hesitant to introduce myself. Then my friend Morgan walked up to me with her and involved me in their conversation. I stopped to introduce myself. She laughed, smiled, and said, "Oh, I've seen you around." And that's when I knew.
Speaker number 17. When not practicing for 20x2, Amy Karatz works to bring co-housing to Chicago. You guys familiar with co-working? Well, co-housing is a collaborative way of living that does for condos what co-working does for offices. She plans to update the Age of Aquarius commune to a market rate solution, bringing friends and strangers together to share the necessities and niceties of condo life. Amy, please share with us. When did you know?
Long before I saw the gilded opulence of the Hermitage, long before I walked from Rembrandt to Matisse, past new artists and pet bears, towards the U.S. consulate to pick up my new passport, before the surly maitre d' at the Georgian restaurant where we shared stories with Russian punk rock star Cha-Cha Ivanov and his American expat girlfriend Lee, who helped me report my lost passport at the local police station, before my friend Jen sang with her band at Club Okun, baby, and Susan played with a kid young enough to be her grandson, before crack dogs and feeling the burn, before Lenin and his friends met us at Red Square, where the iconic St. Basil's Cathedral challenged this cell phone replica. Before we realized that 7707 meant that brides were everywhere, including the mafia boss, his recently well-endowed third wife, and their lovely limousine. Before Peter Hoff and Catherine the Great's extraordinary wall of women. Before the Umpa band collected its Sunday afternoon crowd and he decided that she shouldn't dance alone. Before all of that, but shortly after we arrived to our Moscow apartment and just collapsed, when I realized that, oh shit, I had left my wallet and passport in the airport taxi. That's when I knew it was going to be a great adventure.
Man, that's when I would have known too. Number 18. Where do I put the clicker? That's what that sound is, me hitting the clicker. Gaylon Alcaraz, professional feminist, staunch reproductive activist, social media maven, writer and PhD candidate, feisty fundraiser, daughter, mother, sister, friend, and sexy ass Nana. Gaylon, you have 2 minutes. When did you know? Eamon Daly is dangerous. Eamon Daly is so 2 years ago. Eamon Daly is known for Garrett's popcorn. Eamon Daly is the largest city in Illinois, and Eamon Daly is the best city in America. He can be found on Tumblr, under rocks, and in dreams. Eamon Daly, you're second to last. Come help us wrap up and tell us, when did you know?
I get extra time because my intro was short, right? Cheater! Cheater! It had rained all morning, and the crushing asphalt parking lot was a wet, gravelly mess from the storm. It always, as always, we played tag. And, as always, the nerdy, asthmatic, bottom rung of the ladder smart kid was it. Not 5 minutes into the game, my shoe fell out. I had whirled around to retrieve it, but Daniel got there first. Keep away! He yelled, slinging my shoe to another boy across the lot. I dejectedly resigned myself to hopping after it. And of course, halfway there, the shoe flew right back over my head. I slowly and carefully turned on my remaining shoe and sighed, expecting to continue the chase. But Daniel locked eyes with me, broke into a wide grin, and he dropped my shoe directly into the deepest, rain-filled pothole in the parking lot. I stared at Daniel for a moment, and then I ran straight at him. I grabbed him by the throat and I threw him to the ground. How do you like it, Daniel? I screamed as I stuffed his face right into the same pothole. How do you like getting wet? It took half my class and a lunch lady to pry me off. I was still furious, soggy, and shoeless when I was escorted to the principal's office where I sat fuming. Daniel took your shoe? She asked. I nodded. Do you think what you did was an appropriate response? I glared back, silent. Eamon, she sighed, you're a smart kid. That was stupid. Get to class. And that's when I knew smart kids can get away with shit. Kid. While I got off scot-free, Daniel got a 3-day suspension for causing trouble. But never mind the fact that I hadn't earned my so-called smarts any more than I earned my terrible haircut, or that I had 4 giant bookshelves growing up and parents who read to me every day, or even that Daniel grew up in a shitty, dilapidated farmhouse on the end of town and often wore the same shirt several days in a row. Because at that moment on the playground, there was Daniel, there was my shoe, and there was the singular truth that all kids know. If I could just humiliate this kid, just this one time in front of the cool kids, maybe I could move up that ladder. And I did. Because I was one of the smart kids. Right? Thank you.
Last but far from least, speaker number 20. Will actually not be speaking tonight. However, I do have a bio and you'll see why he's not speaking in just a moment. James Allenspach, has been working with Gapers Block since it started. It's true, you've helped found the site. I know this guy. But that is not all he is famous for. His audio collage work has been heard on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, NPR is on the Media, and the Dr. Demento Show. Shout out to the Dr. Demento Show. James offers up this video as his answer to the question that we all know by heart by now. Thanks.
story, Mr. Hall. Do you think you can help us get married?
Why, I'm in favor of marriage. But tell me, how do you know it's real love, the kind you can get married on?
Why, ever since I first met Larry, I haven't wanted to date anyone else. The whole 3 months now.
Well, it seems you two may have some things to talk over and settle.
What do you mean?
Well, did you two ever see these figures on length of engagement? How they list some chances for happiness in marriage? Well, here's another angle that should interest you both. How age when married affects the chance for happiness. And the same studies show that the woman affects the chance for happiness. You can see that the chances are better after the man reaches 21 or so.
What are we going to do? I thought you were going to help us get married.
When the two of you are ready for marriage, you'll sense a new feeling between you. The two of you united as a pair. How do you know it's real love, the kind you can get married on?
I don't know.
And that's our show for tonight. Let me hear you give a big round of applause for Don Moon, Sean Smith, Rose McMahon, Felix Jung, Sophia Madonna, Demetrio Cardona Magidad, Parker Malloy, Chris Julius, Elizabeth Gomez, Tim Barnes, Rod Slattery, Danette Chavez, Amy Sumpter, Jenni Prokopy, E. Oaks, John Morrison, Amy Karatz, Gaylon Alcaraz, James Allenspach, and Eamon Daly. I have been your host, Andrew Huff. The guy on the computer right over here is Mike Ewing, and the woman right over there on the timer, they're very important timers, is Cinnamon Cooper. Thank you very much. See you guys here again in April, and we'll see you online at 20x2.org/Chicago. Thanks.